welcome to my video. Today I just wanted to paint, inspired by a video that I've seen by Christopher Stephen. It's worth checking him out. Christopher Stephen Art here on YouTube. I think he's a Norfolk-based watercolorist, and he has a video about reflections in water, and that's something I still struggle to do, so I'm gonna give it a go today and just try and reproduce what he, well, not reproduce one-on-one, but the beginning of what he did, which went on something like this. And I'm just going to, well, free flow it and see what comes out of my head here while I'm painting and talking, which is not really something I do a lot. In fact, this is the first time I've done it, or I'm doing it, so yeah, bear with me. This is all pretty new, apart from the painting bit. And yeah, maybe it inspires you as well. So this was, I think, a bit of cobalt blue, and these here on the sides, on the inner sides, is Payne's Grey, one of my favorite, well, colors, if you can call it a color. And now I think I'm going to go in with a bit of burnt sienna. If that is burnt sienna, I'm not sure. Looks a bit too dark, but, well, If anyone of you out there knows about a palette that has also slots for names for the colors that you have in the little things, I don't know what they're called, then yeah, let me know. I'm probably will be happy to use it. So this it's not exactly how Christopher Stephen did it, but oh, that's a bit too much. Shit. Good thing about watercolor. Everybody says watercolor is unforgiving. I don't feel that way, to be honest. I think it's quite forgiving. Let me get my towel here. Well, forgiving is probably the wrong word, but it's not too difficult to correct mistakes or something like that. So we have blue there. Maybe I can go in with a little bit of green, since I'm thinking this should be, well, like forest pond or something. Green, burnt sienna, yeah, mix that and have a look. Right here maybe, yeah, okay, yeah, we can make some trees, or well, hint at trees, because that will, once it's dry, it probably will not really be able to make them out very well, but that doesn't matter. Right. So I'm thinking this would be the horizon line, somewhere in the middle, maybe. And then, yeah, I know I'm not very prepared for this painting, but that's kind of the point of my whole thing, which would be the flow state, just letting it flow and see what happens. Obviously, I do work from reference sometimes, and I do have in mind about what I want to do. But yeah, this video is an experiment, because this is the first time me painting and talking. So yeah, we see where we'll get. So a little more burnt sienna, some, I think that's lavender. Yeah, that's lavender. Ooh, bit of green. I like to mix my colors a lot. Maybe blot in something here that's like foliage. Here, switch to the left hand. By the way, this paper I have, it's a arch or arches, as English speakers would say. It is. Can you see it? It's this one. It's a graphene cold pressed, 300 grams or 150. What is it? Pounds? I don't know. I'm doing metrics, so. Yeah, very nice paper, and actually quite affordable. I do forget how much I paid for it, but for this brand, that's a cheap block of paper, and it's excellent. And I cut it in half, one of those pages, and it's all wet down. So this is a wet and wet technique so far, as you can see, obviously. Okay, but now I'm thinking the water should go down to here, so I'm going to dab this away. Maybe here, that's a short, yeah. Oh yeah. Let's have some water bang down the middle, maybe to there, and then have, oh yeah, that's good. There shall be a shrubbery. A shrubbery for the Knights of Ni. For anyone who knows, gets the reference. So, some shrubs, some more greenery in here, and maybe, I mean, the blue is a bit too prominent for my taste. I only did that because Christopher Stephen started like that, but then I think the scene he painted was actually, it was a sky or something. Not, oh no, actually it was a misty forest with a lake. So maybe my blue wasn't the right hue, I think is what you say. Good. Okay. Now I'm thinking to get some more paper towel. It's actually toilet paper, if you're interested. Blot some more out because sunlight, and we're looking directly into, well, maybe not the sun. The sun might be up here. Yeah. Which would be another thing that I'd be interested in, would be, or what I should practice and want to practice at some point, is these, I think you call them rays of God, but that might be video game terminology, I'm not sure. You know, these just sun rays like this, and yeah, I don't know. Maybe not with a paper towel, that's quite abrasive, but let me grab, oops, my trusty, what is it, number incognito size brush, which I've been using from the beginning of my painting, quote unquote career, and I really like it. So yeah, not sure if that does the trick, especially if you forget to wipe your brush in between. Well, still some more brighter splotches, patches in between, because that's something I tend to forget or overdo. I put too much paint down. I know this doesn't look like it, but I tend to cover the whole, well, yeah, the whole paper in paint, and then it's hard to have the light and dark contrast. Okay, now I'm going to dry that off, I think. Will I? Maybe not. I will not. I'll be, yeah, I think I'll paint some hints at trees in there. So let's see. Somewhere here. Just these bright spots, I think, make for a good foliage or leaves and trees and stuff. I don't know if burnt sienna was the right choice, but yeah. This, like this. And again, this is what in the worst case, this looks shit. And then I can reuse the backside of it. But the best case would be, oh, wrong color. Is it? Is that the same color? Yeah, as you can see, I'm very organized. I use it though. I think, so that's burnt sienna. What would this be? Burnt umber? I don't know. Or is it the same? It might be the same. It is the same. Cool. Why did I do that? Well, where was I? It might look shit, or at least interest. It could create interest in non unusual colors, coloring. I think I tend to go for the natural coloring and stuff, and then I'm often quite dissatisfied because the visual interest that I have created is non-existent sometimes, and it's like bland. It's all green and blue and boring. So yeah, that's why this might be. I'm not sure if it's a good idea because it's very brown, and the beginner's mistake of painting trees is making the trunks brown, which they aren't. They're gray, green. Sometimes they're brown, but mostly they're gray and green. Yeah. So I'm going to feed some Payne's Grey into there. Yeah. I like the blue tint that Payne's Grey has. That gives us a good, or gives me like a good tool for atmospheric distance and desaturated colors and all that. So yeah, if you're advanced, unlike me, then you might right now be screaming at the screen or something. But yeah, bear with me, or just comment what I can do better. Then I have some comments on my videos, which would be nice. Right, okay, light's coming from there, shouldn't forget that. So that's a bit much. But as I said, I find watercolor not too unforgiving. So yeah, or maybe it's just with watercolor you have to work with your mistakes, and that's a good skill, I think, in any part of life. Actually, if you make a mistake, try and work with it. I've made lots of mistakes, so okay, here we are. And this is the part where I usually, no, not usually, where I, when I set out to paint anything, be it with acrylics, be it with watercolor, with whatever, where I would think, oh no, this is going nowhere, and I quit. But I've since learned that this is just the beginning stage, and you have to push through this initial, well, maybe frustration, and then if you start detailing and putting in the details and build upon it, you'll actually get nice results if you stick with it and don't get discouraged. So if you're a beginner, just push through. Okay, no, that might be too much. I was about to put in kind of like a shoreline here, but in Payne's Grey, which would have been too dark, I guess. But I shall use some sepia. Quite how diluted? Well, we see. We see what happens. Okay, yeah. Guess I can work with that. Like this. Is it shoreline, or what would you call it? It's the bank of the lake, maybe? I don't know. Oh, I totally forgot that there's supposed to be some more foliage in the background there. So, very lightly diluted green, maybe with a hint of orange, and a lot of water. Let's see how that works. Yeah, okay. Maybe some yellow for the rays of sunlight reflecting on the green leaves. Why ever that should be yellow, actually, but let's brighten it up with yellow here. Yeah. So even if this painting will be a quote-unquote failure, I'll be glad to have done it and actually recorded a video. Because if you want to learn, you have to make mistakes. At least in my experience. Okay. Yeah, that gives it a bit of glow. So that's there. So the reflection might be up down to here. This will reflect downwards a little more, at least in my estimation. Just like that. Get some more sepia in. I'm all over the place here, but I find it really doesn't matter. Yeah, it's quite dry there. Again, lots of hard edges already. But let's dilute this out, or soften the edges more, rather. Blur it a bit. Okay, this. Well, maybe in the end we can actually see that this is water, but I can't see it right now so far. But well, that's better. Some wavy things, but yeah, I guess this is something for the detailing later in. Okay. now I'm going to experiment with some more foliage in here on the bright patches that I've left out. Yeah, I don't know yet, but we will see. Yeah, not too bad. So, a bit more yellow. And the same here on this side. Yeah, I see the point in referencing, but, well, my space where I'm painting is a little limited. So it's not easy for me to set up an extra screen or a picture for a reference image. Also, I tried it and I tend to forget to look at it, so we'll see if I ever get the hang or get around to properly referencing images. So I decided to put in some, I think this is sap green, by the way. Yeah, it's a sap green. To put in some sap green here around the edges. And build up some more foliage, especially back here. Right. I wish I was left-handed now, because of the angle of my brush. So I'll just pretend to be left-handed. Do it like this. Yeah. Maybe some more easing out of the hard edges and some spaces. There seems to be more water down in the middle of the paper. Yeah, I guess some of you can actually tell me why. So, why? I assume it's because I put down more paint in here with more water, so it soaked it up. That would be logical, I guess. Okay. One thing I'm also struggling with is creating, this depth up to here, and only this space maybe. In most of my paintings I struggle doing that. That's something I have to practice and get around to, so it doesn't look like a 2D thing, if you know what I mean, like a cutout here and then there's something in the back and you have these layers behind each other, if you can follow me with my general thought here. I hope so. Also, I hope you can understand me and my pronunciation. I tend to mumble sometimes. So, yeah. I'm quite happy with this because this seems to be glowing already. This doesn't, but I think that's fine because that's further in the back, or off to the side rather. So actually, yeah, so far this is getting good, I think. Some more yellowish. I'm thinking of putting more foliage in here. Oh, that's very green. I want to have it more yellow. Yeah, it's better. Might be a bit too strong for something that is actually further in the back. Man, it's hard work painting, isn't it? Especially for the brain. But I love it. So on this side it's better. Why is that? It seems more moist. Okay, put some more, yeah, brightness, more yellow onto here. Oh yeah, we might be getting there. So some of these edges out. And I bet you, if this was a bigger format, paper-wise, I'd really screw this up. This is the problem with me being afraid of wasting a big sheet of paper, which is completely irrational. But, well, it's there, what can I say? But again, that would be something I'll have to learn. Okay, just feeding in some more green on the, well, on the, what do you call it, the offhand side of the sun, maybe you might want to call it. Oh yes. And now I'll switch to a, what I think is called a rigger. Yeah, there it says, rigger. A rigger. I was going to say pencil, but I meant a brush, to try and get in some hints of branches and tree trunks and all that. Again, using my favorite grey, Payne's Grey. I don't know if there's any other, so I hope this isn't too strong. Now it shouldn't be. Might be too wet, but we see. Yeah, that is too wet and too diluted. And yes, I know, painting the background after painting the foreground is non-ideal, to say the least. And well, mostly I now well, what do I want to say? I want to say that mostly I don't make this mistake anymore, but sometimes I do. But you know, if it works, it works, and this might just work. It might. I don't know if you can hear it. There's a cuckoo in my garden, which is quite active. And if you haven't heard it, then just ignore this weird comment. Right. So, despite talking while painting, I am now getting into what I like to call my flow state. Which, well, flow state in itself is a what do you call it? Yeah, there's a definition for it, but I don't know if what I call flow state is what it is by definition, but my own definition for it is I kind of split my mind. There's a conscious part of me that is thinking about what I'm doing, but it's like looking too closely at something. So if I overthink and I look too closely at what I'm doing, then my paintings turn to rubbish, is my experience. So what I tend to do is what I'm doing now. I just I split my attention. Now it's split to talking, and I find it's not easy to come up with what to talk about, but well, it worked so far. But anyway, split to talking and split to analyzing what I'm doing, but also not over-analyzing, and just letting the strokes come out of me, if that makes sense to you. And yeah, so for example, here I was about to put in Payne's Gray, put in another branch, which would have been too dark, because that would got to the foreground, and my conscious attention stopped me from just doing that and thinking about how to do it. So grabbing like a green maybe. So yeah, that stopped the flow state, so to say. And well, no, it's a harmony of conscious thinking and what I like to call the flow state. So before I made a mistake, I stopped myself to try something and not make the mistake, which might turn out to be a mistake. We'll see. It was a mistake, that is. Okay, I'll just feed the rest of this color in down here, just to not waste it. I wanted this to be more faded, I guess, which it will do. It will be fading once it's dry. Yeah, but yeah, maybe I should mix it with some blue later. Maybe I should actually dry it off now. I think, yeah, I'm going to do that now. So I'm going to pause the video so you don't have to listen to this buddy here. And I'll see you in a finger snap for you. Finger snap later. I have almost totally dried it off and also taped it down, which is suboptimal, I think. And so this is another experiment, if that works, because this is still just very slightly damp, and this is just simple painter's tape. So I don't know if that will hold it down, but you know, fingers crossed. Right, where were we? We wanted to have some hints at branches in there. Do we need that? That's another question. We see. Maybe I should go over this as well. There's work to be done. There's a lot of work still left to be done. Maybe this should be a two-part video, because we already were on it for half an hour before I dried it off. But, well, we see. Do I want this brush? I don't know if I want this brush. It takes on a lot of water, so no. I'll take my Incognito brush. And yeah, I'll work on some more foliage for now. And who knows, to shorten the time, I might just speed up some parts of it. And, you know, then you miss out on my rambling, but I guess there's worse things. After all, this is the first video I'm actually making with talking and painting, so trying to find my own format. So if you have suggestions what you would like me to do in these videos, then yes, please tell me down in the comments. And I think these parts here should be much darker to heighten the contrast, and I think I've went in too far with the dark green here, so let's wash that out a little bit. Yeah, that's a bit better. So what I come to really like is the a mix of hard and soft edges when it comes to foliage. I know that's not realistic, but I think it just looks fantastic. Like you can see here. So you have some hard edges and some soft edges suggesting at what might be there, what might not be there, and so the mind of the observer can fill in the blanks and, well, basically paint. You can paint your own picture, your own painting in your mind while looking at my painting, and I guess we'll have kind of different results, but that's the fun, I think, and that's the good thing and the great thing about art. I'm gonna regret this, I guess. Yeah, I forgot what this, I think it's Hocus green. I don't like Hocus green. Is this? Now that's sap green. It could be that, not sure. Ow. Because, oh no, I'm wrong. Am I wrong? Just to try. Need to get my colors straight, really. So what is this? That is okay. Oh no, yeah, this is sap green. I've been using, have I? Yeah. So yeah, sap green was correct that I have been using, and this is Hocus green. Really don't like it. I don't know why I bought it. Probably because other people use it and I've heard about it. I haven't found the right occasion to use it, where to use it. Right. Try to become a little more loose with the foliage in the background and the suggested branches and trunks, because this is not the focal point of the picture, not of the painting. Not that I'm consciously thinking about focal points or anything. That's, I admit, something I rarely do, and I just go by intuition, and it's a bit of a hit and miss sometimes. But yeah, okay, so if I darken this bit, then I might have more depth to it. So let's go in with some sepia and green. Yeah, mix it all over. Some more of that, and maybe just a little mist with my misting bottle, like this, to break up the edges. Okay, and I think this here is kind of winking at me, wanting to become the bank of the lake, or well, maybe it's a river that curves in here, I don't know, or a little stream in the forest, whatever we fancy. It comes down here, and then we treat this with this. Oh, some grass. Right, not sure how to make this into a watery surface. Maybe I'll scrap that. But then that's, I guess that's what the painting dictates me to do, so I'm fine with it. Although we have like a short now, but yeah. I guess we see by the end what will come of it. Okay, here you can see what I meant before with these layers in an image that are just stacked in front of each other. So this darker bit here, this shrubbery here, seems now in the foreground and the lighter bit in the background, which in itself is great. And looking, well, the perspective that we have, looking right onto it, there it works, but other perspectives don't work for me. Well, so for example, if you look at this bit here, right now I'm actually thinking I can make it work so that this is the forefront, obviously, and it gradually goes into the background. But on a larger scale, I tend to not be able to manage it, to achieve that. Like over here, that's sketchy there. So yeah, again, we see how we progress, or well, you see how I progress. So I just decided to have some more saturated, saturated actually, saturated bits here in the foreground, because that might actually make the difference. but yeah. So when I was taught arts in school, I didn't pay attention. I never knew I wanted to paint until I don't know, was a fully fledged grown up. Interestingly enough, I was also quite bad in school, but that might have been the system back then. I don't know how it is today, but yeah, how do you teach creativity? So I work with children in a educational manner, so to speak, but it's more about fun and not about well, the education is more the background there, and we are doing creative activities. And before I continue to talk, I have to look for something. There it is. So I just thought I'll take this bit of a plastic card and scratch some stuff in. Where was I? Oh yeah, the educational bit. Yeah, it's in the background, and I always, or very often, have children coming up to me with what they've been doing, and for example, showing me what they've done and going like, does this look good? And I tend to ask them, do you like it? And they often say, yeah. And then I'm saying, yeah, then it's good, because it's not about what I think, it's about what you think. Even though I sometimes say, look, okay, you can put in a bit more effort to make it nicer, but if you like it, then you like it. And this is bollocks. Well, maybe we'll not notice too much. Can I do something here? Yeah. I love this technique. But the point I was trying to make about the educational system is, at least when I was in school, I think there was too much effort put into guidelines, maybe, or, well, too much definition in what is art, what it's all about, and not about making children creative, you know. It was more like paint like Van Gogh or something. And to this day, I can't, I mean, I appreciate Van Gogh, but it's not my style, right? And as a kid, it wasn't. And, you know, when you're a kid and you don't like something, you're not interested. If you're not interested, it's no fun. And you learn through fun. That is scientifically proven. So, yeah. Okay, rant is over. I'll see. I like this part. I'm really looking forward to detailing it there. But I'm not there yet, so let me think how to do this bit. I'm not happy about this being so saturated, so I'm going to blot out some of the paint to push it hopefully further back. Yeah, could work. Okay, I'm going back in with maybe some raw umber for the water bank water bank, lake bank, whatever bank in here. See if that works out. That's a lot of water there. That's not good. This I think is wrong, but it might be raw sienna. Yeah. Yeah, this is patchy stuff, you know? It's not a whole... It's more like a swamp, maybe, or moor. Well, should also be nice. Kind of bring it all together. Okay, so this is dry and I have a lot of paint on my brush. So I'm trying to break this all up. Yeah, like that. To bring down the grass. Oh yes. Okay. Yeah. Happy with that. Yeah. So my trouble with painting wet surfaces or water surfaces is that in my mind, I know it's not blue. If I be a child, I'll probably just paint it blue because water is blue. No, it isn't. But all the reflections, the mix of very bright surfaces where the light glaringly is reflected, but also there's a lot of darkness where, well, yeah, the reflections and shadows of the trees and the foliage and the plants make it really, really dark. So I'm debating of just dragging a lot of Payne's grey over it, like here with a drying brush, and try to paint in some ripples. But that might look shit. I apologize for... Why do I? I don't know. If I apologize for it, then I shouldn't do it, should I? Well, I hope you're not offended by my occasional swearing. It's just how I am. Sorry. I have to watch my language all the time when I'm around children, so maybe this is why I'm letting go here. Right, there's more of that. Well, I think the shoreline should be much darker because it's earth. It's really dark, wet forest earth. So, hello, Payne's grey. Yeah. Let's see how bad it'll look in a minute. Maybe the problem is that I tend to apply it everywhere and not just where it should go, maybe. We'll see. This, oh yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea. That gives it a little more depth now. And now let's see, try to have a dry, possibly dry brush and brush it down into the water, which is not a good idea. Is it? I don't know. Maybe. Blend this in. Now we have some light reflecting. Yeah, maybe this, well, this particular, what's it called, motif is not the best to practice what I was trying to do. So I like it so far. I've certainly done worse paintings. Yeah. One of the biggest downsides of talking and painting is I can't listen to music. Copyright and stuff, you know. Well, I mean, maybe I can pop in my earphones at some point, but nothing I want to try out today. It's been challenging enough to paint and talk for now, to no one actually. So it's weird. But millions of people do it, so why not give it a go? Okay, more teeny tiny foliage, well, branches. I have a very, very thin brush, but what color? It needs to be, that's blue with green. Yeah, let's see if that works, because I want something there very delicately. Oh yes, yeah, maybe here, there, there. I might just cut out a lot of my talking. Cut out, edit out. Right, I'm thinking this is by no means finished, but I'm gonna work on some detailing here and then I'll call it a day for now. And maybe we continue this later, at a later point. I have a whole bunch of paintings that I could actually do more work on, so maybe I'm thinking about doing some videos where I just, you know, get a painting that I started and try to see if I can finish it, if it's salvageable. And this could be one of those. But for now, this one goes away, get the rigger again, and some Payne's Grey. and have some fun with this tree trunk. Yeah, I do need a little bit of water though. A bit more. Okay. Yeah. I do love painting roots and trees and tree trunks. Maybe because it's not too complicated, because it's so organic. I haven't tried my hand on architecture yet, and I'm actually quite apprehensive about that, because that should be quite difficult to make all the straight angles and stuff. And again, this could be different for everyone, but I heard that in general organic paintings or organic shapes are much easier to paint, and I find it's true. Okay. Not sure how much detail I want with this. Don't want to overwork it. So that might be enough. Now do some more foliage, and then for now I guess we can call it a day. Get some more paint on, darken this side. Put some green in there. There. And well, this trunk is too big for the sparse foliage I've done there, so maybe I'll extend this out and hope it works. It doesn't ruin anything. But it just looks not natural, does it? But then some dark in front of light, that's the contrast that you get from looking directly into the sun. So maybe this is actually helping. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, you can see my patience going away, because that was careless stuff that I did here. That's bollocks. Okay, put in some more over here and over the trunk in front of it. Yeah, I like it. And now connect these a little bit. Yes, with Payne's Grey. Just ever so slightly. Yeah, well, had this happen in other paintings, and actually the effect is quite nice. I do like it. Okay. Yeah. put in some chaos. Yeah. All right. So thank you for watching so far. As I said, this is not finished yet, but for now I'll give it a break, and I hope to see you in another video. Thank you. Goodbye.